Are you insane? Liang Zhang barely dodged as a porcelain rice bowl shattered behind him, spraying rice and gravy across the pristine marble wall. Tola's chest rose and fell like a woman who'd just declared war. If not for this stupid marriage alliance and its conditions, she spat. Do you think I'd want you? Her silk robe brushed his arm as she stormed past him, the faint scent of vanilla and danger in her wake. Liang Zhang blinked, dusted off a grain of rice from his sleeve, and turned to his assistant, Han Yu, who was standing awkwardly in the corner, holding a notepad. Han Yu whispered, Should I, order plastic plates next time? Shut up, Han Yu. Yes, boss. Tola's voice echoed down the grand hallway. You can't keep me here forever. Liang Zhang exhaled slowly, tugging his cuffs into place. Make sure she doesn't leave. The guards at the doorway froze, unsure which was more terrifying, their boss's calm tone, or the woman currently threatening to haunt their ancestors. By midnight, the mansion was silent, except for a certain Nigerian bride tiptoeing barefoot across cold marble tiles, muttering, God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, if you can save them from fire, you can save me from this man. Her hair was wild, her phone clutched between her teeth as she used the curtains to climb down. But as her feet touched the dewy grass, a voice came from the shadows. Running away? She froze. Liang Zhang stood there in a black turtleneck, hands in his pockets, moonlight turning his expression into something dangerously unreadable. Tola's lips trembled. I hate you. He tilted his head. Do you think I like you? Before she could slap him, he scooped her up like a feather. Put me down, she yelled, kicking wildly. Not happening, little bunny. Don't call me that. Then stop acting like one. Hanyu appeared at the balcony above, camera phone out. Should I record this for the marriage counselor? Hanyu. Liang snapped. Right, sorry. Deleting it now. By the time Liang dropped her gently onto the couch, Tola was crying angry tears, the kind that hurt more than they fall. She curled up, muttering something about suing his entire bloodline. Hanyu tiptoed in with a blanket. I come in peace. Would you like tea, or maybe holy water? Go away, she snapped. Holy water it is, he mumbled, retreating. By dawn, exhaustion had claimed her. She felt warmth before she felt him. Arms wrapping around her, a whisper brushing her ear, a kiss that made her breath hitch. Stop running from me, little bunny, just let me love you, please. Her heart stuttered. That voice, it sounded like Liang Zhang. But the way he said it, the gentleness, the pleading, it reminded her of someone she'd once loved. Someone who disappeared 3 years ago. Someone named Ruahan. And for the first time since she'd met Liang Zhang, she wondered, who exactly had she married? Tola woke up groggy and confused, her hair looking like it had just survived a storm. The last thing she remembered was crying herself to sleep on the couch, and that whisper. That voice. She sat up slowly, rubbing her eyes. For once, she didn't yell at anyone. Outside her door, she heard the maids whispering. The master seems pleased today. Even after all Madame did yesterday? Maybe she's using African dark magic. Every time he sleeps with her, he gives us bonuses. Tola nearly dropped her comb. What dark magic? It's called trauma bonding, she muttered, glaring at her reflection. She flung open the door, and the maids scattered like guilty pigeons. Next person who says dark magic, I'll show you real African thunder. Downstairs, Hanyu was sipping boba tea and scrolling through TikTok when she stormed past. He didn't even look up. Morning, madam. You broke 2 bowls, 3 egos, and 1 man's patience yesterday. Congrats. Keep talking and I'll break your phone next, she snapped, snatching an apple from the counter. Hanyu grinned. You're my favorite villain. She rolled her eyes but smirked. She couldn't help it. Hanyu was impossible to hate. Just then, footsteps echoed from the grand staircase. Liang Zhang, or at least, she thought it was him, descended in a black shirt and unbuttoned sleeves, looking entirely too casual for someone she'd tried to murder with dinnerware. Except something was off. His smile, his walk, his eyes. Tola, he said softly. We need to talk. She froze, the apple halfway to her mouth.
Oh no.
You're calm. That means danger. He chuckled. It's me, Ruihan. Her eyes widened. Excuse me? He leaned in, whispering urgently. I don't have much time. Listen, Liang Zhang is not who you think he is. There's something you need to find. A document, red folder, black seal. Get it from his study and meet me at the East Garden before noon. We can leave this place, Tola, together. Her brain short-circuited. You're saying my husband is you, and you're also him, but not really him? Exactly. That's not helping. Hanyu peeked in from the kitchen, holding his cup. Are we doing roleplay before breakfast again, or should I call security? Ruihan shot him a glare. Hanyu, you talk too much. Hanyu squinted. That's how I know you're not my boss. He usually says, Hanyu, shut up. Tola blinked. Okay, someone explain before my brain packs up. But Ruihan only kissed her forehead, so gently, so familiarly, and whispered, Please, trust me. Then he disappeared down the hallway. Tola clutched her head. I'm either losing my mind or living in a badly written telenovela. Hanyu shrugged. Or both. Either way, I'm grabbing popcorn. By 11:45, Tola had sneaked into the study. She rifled through drawers, her nerves fraying. Red folder, black seal, where are you? Behind her, a voice said, Looking for something? She jumped, clutching the nearest thing, a framed photo, ready to throw it. Liang Zhang stood in the doorway, real this time, colder, sharper, and definitely not Ruihan. He raised an eyebrow. Are you stealing from me now? She forced a shaky laugh. Stealing? No, I was organizing. I'm Nigerian. We organize emotionally when we're stressed. Hanyu, entering behind him, whispered, That's actually true. Before Liang could respond, a loud voice echoed from the foyer. Where is my best friend, and who is this Asian man trying to police her womb? Both men froze. Tola's eyes widened. Oh no. Charging into the mansion in 6-inch heels and chaos energy was Sod, Tola's best friend, a hurricane in a crop top. Sod. Tola hissed. What are you doing here? Saving you. I saw on Instagram that you married some billionaire without telling me. She turned to Liang, pointing. And you, Mr. Chow Mein or whatever, if you hurt her, I'll bring my mother's prayer warriors here. Hanyu choked on his drink. This is better than Netflix. Liang pinched the bridge of his nose. Hanyu, why is this woman in my house? She broke in, Hanyu said cheerfully. But she brought Puff Puff, so I let her. Ruihan suddenly appeared again from the side corridor, smirking. Looks like I came at the wrong time. Tola stared between the two identical men, one cold and commanding, the other tender and pleading. Sada's mouth dropped open.
Tola.
Why are there two fine Asian men in this house, and why do they both look like they could ruin your life? Tola whispered, Because I think they already have. Hanyu clapped slowly. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rice Bowl War, Part 2. Morning came with sunlight that felt too bright for the kind of emotional hangover Tola had. She sat at the dining table in an oversized hoodie, staring into her cereal like it held the secrets of the universe. Across from her, Sod was buttering toast like she was preparing for battle, while Hanyu sat beside her, sipping coffee from a mug that said, Drama is my cardio. So, Sod began, looking between Tola and Hanyu. You're telling me there are two of him? Like, copy and paste? Yup, Hanyu said, not looking up from his phone. One is terrifyingly rich and emotionally constipated. The other is charming and suspiciously broke. Twins. Cousins. Clones. Nobody knows. Tola groaned. Can you both not make jokes about my crisis? Sod raised a hand. Sorry, babe. But you've got a billionaire husband, a doppelganger situationship, and possible identity fraud. If we don't laugh, we'll cry. Hanyu leaned forward. Honestly, I'm still stuck on how you almost ran away barefoot. In silk. That's a power move. Shut up, Tola muttered, glaring at her spoon. Sod squinted at Hanyu. You're weird. I like you. You're like if Google had a human form. Hanyu grinned. Flattery accepted. Friendship confirmed. The two of them high-fived over Tola's cereal. She looked between them and sighed. Why do my support systems behave like stand-up comedians? Because, Sod said, munching toast, if we acted normal, you'd spiral. And if I spiral, my lashes will fall off. So humor it is. Before Tola could retort, the door opened and Liang Zhang, at least she thought it was him, entered, dressed in his signature black, calm as ever. Hanyu immediately stood up. Boss. Sod leaned close to Tola, whispering, it's giving villain energy. 10 out of 10 jawline though. Tola elbowed her. Liang's gaze flicked between them, unreadable. Miss Sod, your presence here is unexpected. Sod smiled sweetly. So, was your marriage, sir? Hanyu choked on his coffee. She's fearless. I love it. Liang's jaw twitched, but he said nothing. He only turned to Tola. We'll talk later. When he left, Sod whispered, see? Villain vibes. No one that hot is emotionally available. That night, the mansion was too quiet again. Tola lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. Every sound made her flinch, the creak of the floorboards, the rustle of wind through the curtains. She told herself she wouldn't fall for either of them. Not the man she married. Not the one who claimed to still love her. So when the door opened softly and a familiar shadow entered, she stilled. He came in quietly, serious, eyes softer in the dim light. Liang or Ruihin? She couldn't tell anymore. He lay beside her, careful not to touch her at first. His breathing evened out, but his voice was low, strained, as if he was speaking through guilt. I wish we had a normal relationship, he murmured. But if this is all I can get, I'll take it as long as it's you. Tola's heart clenched painfully. Who was this man? The monster her enemies warned her about, or the boy who once took a beating to protect her back in Beijing, before all the money, before the arranged marriage? When his hand brushed her cheek, she didn't move. She couldn't, and that scared her more than anything. He kissed her forehead, lingering just long enough to leave her breathless, and then he was gone. By dawn, guilt gnawed at her until she couldn't sit still. In the bathroom mirror, she looked at herself and whispered, love makes people blind. Revenge makes them stupid. She grabbed her phone. And right now, I'm both. A message pinged. Ruihin, did you get the folder? Meet me at the east gate. We can leave before he wakes up. Her hands shook. She grabbed her bag, her hoodie, and the red folder she'd found under the desk the night before. Sada's sleepy voice came from behind her. Where are you going? Tola turned, forcing a smile. To fix everything. Sod frowned. That sounds like code for make it worse. But Tola was already gone. Fog clung to the gardens as she reached the east gate. Ruihin was there, hood up, hand outstretched. You came, he breathed. Her chest tightened. We don't have much time. He smiled faintly. Don't worry, little bunny. You're safe now. Something about the way he said it made her hesitate. But before she could think too hard, he took her hand, guiding her into the waiting car. As they sped away from the mansion, she exhaled shakily, relief and fear tangling together, until she noticed the small scar on his hand, the one that only Liang Zhang had. Her stomach dropped. She turned slowly, eyes wide. Wait, you're not. He smiled faintly, the corner of his mouth curling in that dangerous, familiar way. Too late to turn back now, little bunny. And that was when she realized she might have just run away with the wrong man. Rain streaked the car windows as they sped down the winding mountain road. The headlights cut through the mist like knives. Tola sat stiffly in the passenger seat, hoodie pulled tight around her, clutching the red folder to her chest like it could explain her life choices. The man driving, the one she thought was Ruihin, kept his eyes on the road, the ghost of a smirk tugging at his mouth. His voice was calm, almost teasing. Relax, little bunny. You look like you're being kidnapped. I am being kidnapped, she shot back. We're literally fleeing your mansion at dawn. You didn't even let me eat breakfast. He chuckled lowly. You can eat when we're safe. Something about the way he said were made her stomach twist. His tone was wrong, colder, older, more like Liang than Ruohan. But she shook it off. Her brain was too tired to think, too scared to question. Outside, the fog grew thicker. The road narrowed. Her heart pounded louder. "Where are we even going?" she asked. "You'll see," he said. "Once we're away from the family." She nodded, even though it made no sense. Her gut screamed something was off, but her heart still wanted to believe this was the boy who once shielded her from bullies in that Beijing orphanage courtyard, back when life was simple. Meanwhile, back at the mansion, Hanyu burst into Sada's room, panicked and holding a GPS tracker. "She's gone," Sad, hair wrapped in a bonnet and holding a croissant, blinked. "Gone where?" "To the bathroom." "No, gone. She left with Ruohan. Or maybe Liang. I don't know. I've lost all sense of reality." Sad jumped out of bed. "What? Which one is which again?" Hanyu flailed. "The mean one is Liang. The mysterious one is Ruohan. Or maybe the mysterious one is Liang pretending to be Ruohan, pretending to be himself." Sad clapped her hands in his face. "Focus. We need a plan."
Hanyu nodded rapidly.
"Okay. Step 1. Locate the tracker I secretly put in her phone because I have trust issues." Sad blinked. "That's creepy. I call it responsible." They both stared at the screen as a little red blinked somewhere outside Hangzhou. "She's heading toward the coast," Hanyu said. Sad grabbed her purse. "Then so are we." Hanyu looked at her outfit, pajama pants, mismatched socks, and a pink bonnet. "You're going like that?" "Hanyu. She married a billionaire without warning me. She deserves a dramatic rescue. Let's go."
Hanyu sighed.
"I should have stayed in accounting." In a hidden villa outside the city, Ruohan stormed into the room, hair disheveled, panic etched across his face. "She took the folder?" he demanded. His assistant nodded nervously. "Yes, sir. But she didn't meet you. Someone else intercepted her." Ruohan froze.
"Who?"
The assistant hesitated. "Your cousin." Ruohan's jaw tightened.
"Liang."
He slammed his fist against the table. "He played me." Then his eyes softened. Just slightly. "And she has no idea." He grabbed his phone, dialing rapidly.
"Hanyu."
"Tell me you're still alive." Back in the getaway car, Tola's head leaned against the window, exhaustion making her eyelids heavy. She could feel herself drifting. Then she heard him laugh.
"Low."
"Cruel. She actually believed me," he murmured. Her eyes snapped open. He wasn't talking to her. He was on the phone, Bluetooth light blinking. All it took was that pendant. A woman's voice purred through the speakers, smooth, dangerous. "You always were the better actor, Liang." The room spun, or maybe it was her heart. That pendant. The same one her husband always wore. The same one she thought proved he was her childhood enemy. Memory struck like lightning. 2 boys in the courtyard, one giving her a jade pendant, the other watching silently. One had abandoned her. The other had stayed, taken her punishment, nearly died for her. She stared at the man beside her, his smirk reflected in the window, sharp and triumphant. Oh God. She had just betrayed the wrong man. "Pull over," she whispered, her voice cracking. Liang's smile didn't reach his eyes. "Too late for that, little bunny." Her fingers tightened on the folder. "You lied to me." He shrugged. "You made it easy." Before she could answer, the car jerked, tires screeching as a black SUV swerved in front of them. Hanyu was driving. Sad was on the roof with a frying pan. Tola blinked. "What the?" Sad yelled over the wind. "Tola, you idiot. Get out of the car." Liang cursed under his breath and slammed the brakes. Hanyu leaned out the window, hair flying. "Boss, this is the dumbest rescue I've ever done, and I've done many." Tola unbuckled, heart pounding, as the door swung open and chaos exploded around her. She didn't know who to trust anymore, Ruohan, Liang, or even herself. But one thing was clear. The Rice Bowl war wasn't just about love anymore. It was about survival. The road was chaos, metal screeching, shouts cutting through the fog, and Sod standing on the hood of Hanyu's SUV like an avenging angel wielding a frying pan. "Let her go, you fine demon," she yelled, swinging with alarming accuracy. Liang ducked, fury flashing across his face. "Who is this lunatic? Your worst nightmare?" Sod screamed, nearly denting the car door. Hanyu leapt out from the driver's seat, waving his hands. "Everyone chill. We can solve this without." Clang. "Sod, please stop hitting luxury vehicles." Tola stumbled out of the passenger seat, clutching the red folder, heart pounding.
Sod, stop.
"You'll get us all killed. I told you not to run away with him." Sod cried, panting. "You never listen." Liang grabbed Tola's wrist, pulling her behind him. "Get in the car." Hanyu stepped forward, palms raised. "Boss, listen. She thought you were your cousin. It's an honest mistake. Happens all the time in K-dramas." "Hanyu." Liang's tone was a warning growl. "Right," Hanyu muttered. Not then helping. A gunshot cracked the air. Everyone froze. A second SUV screeched into view, blacker, sleeker. From it stepped Ruohin, his expression carved from steel. "Let her go," Ruohin said, voice low and deadly. Liang smirked. "You're late. I should have known you'd use her." Ruohin's gaze flicked to Tola, soft for a split second before it hardened again. "Get behind me, Tola." But before anyone could move, a burst of gunfire erupted from the hillside. Smoke.
Shouts.
Chaos. Tola screamed as men in black suits dove for cover, bullets slicing through the air. "Get down," Hanyu yelled, tackling Sod behind the SUV. "Why does this always happen around you people? I didn't pack for a shootout." Sod shrieked, clutching her bonnet. Tola crawled toward Liang, who was on the ground, blood blooming beneath his side. "No, no, no." He looked up at her, eyes glassy, but still full of that maddening calm. Why did you do it?" Tears streamed down her face as she pressed her hands to the wound. "Don't talk. Just stay with me." He gave a weak smile. "At least I got to see you one last time." "No," she sobbed. "Don't say that. Please, I was wrong. I was so stupid. I thought you were." Sirens wailed in the distance. Smoke blurred the horizon. Her world tilted, everything fading into red and soundless panic. When she woke again, the hospital lights burned white and cruel. News reporters were outside already. The African spy involved in the Zhang scandal. Enemy's puppet exposed. She couldn't even look at herself in the mirror. Every headline, every whisper tore her apart. Liang had survived, barely. But everyone blamed her.
She stopped eating.
Stopped speaking. Even Sod and Hanyu couldn't get through to her. Until, 2 weeks later, Liang's heart monitor beeped faster. His eyes fluttered open. "Where is she?" he croaked. The doctors exchanged uneasy glances. "You still want her after everything?" He managed a faint smile. "Always." Sod burst into Tola's room, breathless. "He's awake." Tola froze. "What?" Hanyu poked his head in. "You heard her. The boss said your name before he even asked for pain meds. Romantic and dumb." Tola didn't wait. She ran, down sterile corridors, past nurses and guards, through the smell of antiseptic and guilt. When she reached his room, Liang was sitting upright, bandages across his chest, monitors beeping softly. He looked fragile, human, nothing like the cold, controlled man she first met. The moment their eyes met, she broke. "I'm sorry," she cried, stumbling into his arms. "I was wrong. I should have trusted you." His hand came up, trembling but firm, cupping her cheek. "No more running, little bunny." She buried her face against his neck, sobbing quietly. Hanyu sniffled from the doorway. "I swear, if they start kissing, I'm billing them for emotional labor." Sod wiped her eyes. "Shut up, Hanyu. Let them have their moment." Outside, the press was still raging. Ruohin was still missing. The war between truth and lies wasn't over. But for now, for one fragile heartbeat, peace found them. And in that stillness, Tola finally let herself believe that maybe, just maybe, She wasn't the villain of her own story anymore. The world thought Ruohin was dead. But the devil doesn't die so easily. In a private clinic hidden in the mountains, his heartbeat returned like an omen. The first thing he asked for was a medicine. It was the pendant. When the nurse handed it to him, he smirked faintly. Inside that smooth jade shell wasn't just nostalgia. It was the key to a vault of documents that could destroy everyone who had crossed him. Soon, Ruohin murmured, his eyes sharp and cold. Liang and that African woman will pay. Meanwhile, Tola stood in the courtyard, gun in hand, aiming at the empty bottles Hanyu had lined up on the wall. Her arms ached. Sweat ran down her temple. Hanyu yawned, crouched under a parasol with an iced latte. Boss, I think she's trying to kill the bottles through telepathy. Shut up, Hanyu, Liang said, stepping behind Tola. He adjusted her stance, hands warm against her hips. Breathe, he whispered. I am breathing, she muttered, flushing as his voice slid down her spine like velvet. No, you're panicking, he corrected softly. You always do that when I'm too close. Saad burst out laughing from her chair. Oh, she's panicking all right. You could fry eggs on her blush. Tola turned and glared. Saad, please. Saad shrugged, sipping her smoothie. I'm just saying, girl, if this man doesn't propose after all this trauma, I'm calling HR in heaven. Hanyu snorted. We don't have HR. We have me, and I fully support the chaos. Why are you two like this? Liang sighed, rubbing his temple. You sound like bad comic relief. Saad smirked. Correction. We are the comic relief. You two are the tragic main leads. Tola fired the gun, finally hitting the target. Ha.
See?
I can focus. Hanyu clapped dramatically. Miracles do happen. That night, the laughter faded into something quieter. Tola found Liang in his study, staring at the open pendant. Inside was a small microchip, no bigger than a fingernail. What is that? She asked softly. The truth, he replied. About Ruohin. About our family. He looked up, eyes heavy. We weren't supposed to be enemies. We were twins raised to compete for the same inheritance. He was supposed to die that night, but he didn't. He changed his face, changed his name, and waited for me to fall. Tola's throat tightened. And I played right into it. He turned toward her, jaw clenched. You couldn't have known. I should've, she whispered. I let my fear choose for me. His voice dropped lower, rougher. Then stop running from it. Their eyes met. Anger, regret, longing all burning in one spark. She reached for him, and he caught her hand, pulling her closer until her breath hitched. I don't know if we're saving each other or destroying each other, she whispered. He leaned in, his forehead brushing hers. Why not both? The kiss started desperate, fire meeting fire. His hands tangled in her hair, her fingers pressed against his heartbeat. The world around them blurred, breaking apart into warmth and sound. They kissed like it was both punishment and forgiveness. Then the explosion
came.
For one fragile moment,
Windows
it was
shattered.
peace. The guard screamed. Hanyu stormed into the hallway, frying pan in hand. Boss, Ruohin's men are here. Why do they always come when people are kissing? Saad grabbed Tola's arm, hair wrapped in a silk bonnet and chaos blazing in her eyes. If we survive this, I'm buying you therapy. The deluxe kind. Get her out, Liang ordered, grabbing his gun. Tola shook her head.
No.
Not this time. The mansion roared with gunfire. Ruohin himself stepped through the smoke, his suit untouched, his smirk venomous. Well, he drawled. Did you miss me, brother? Liang lifted his weapon. You should have stayed dead. Ruohin raised the pendant, its hidden light flashing. And miss this show? You took everything from me. Now I'll take her. Over my dead body, Tola snapped. That can be arranged, Ruohin said, raising his gun. A single shot split the air, then two, then three. When the smoke cleared, Ruohin lay bleeding, staring up at the ceiling. He laughed weakly. Still always the hero, huh? Liang dropped beside him, blood soaking through his sleeve. You made me one. Ruohin coughed, eyes flicking toward Tola. You chose well, brother. Then he went still. Silence fell. The fire crackled through the ruins. Tola turned to Liang, her hands trembling as she pressed on his wound. Why did you do it? She sobbed. He smiled weakly. At least I got to see you one last time. No, don't you dare say that. The world blurred. Sirens, voices, Saad screaming for help, Hanyu threatening to fight paramedics for touching the wrong tube. 2 weeks later, he woke up. Where's she? His voice rasped. Hanyu grinned tiredly. You're unbelievable, boss. First thing you ask about is the woman who almost gave me a heart attack. Where's she? He repeated. In the chapel, Saad said softly, crying her pretty eyes out. He closed his eyes. Bring her here. When she entered the room, she froze. He looked pale, fragile but alive. I thought I lost you, she whispered. He held out his hand. You did, but you found me again. She ran into his arms, tears soaking his bandages. He smiled faintly, pressing a kiss to her forehead. No more running, little bunny, he murmured. She laughed through her tears. Next time you throw a rice bowl at me, I'll throw it back, he said, grinning. And for the first time, they both laughed, the kind of laugh that sounded like healing. Outside, Saad and Hanyu clinked coffee mugs like champagne glasses. Happy ending, Saad said. Kinda. Hanyu nodded.
Yeah.
Until they start fighting again. They will. Can't wait. Weeks later, in a quiet garden far from the city, Liang leaned close and whispered, You still owe me a rematch. Tola smiled. At shooting. At everything. The jade pendant gleamed faintly on her neck. No longer a key, no longer a curse. Just a reminder that even in the madness of betrayal and bullets, love somehow survived. And maybe, just maybe, that was the real magic. Bonus epilogue. Remind me again why I agreed to this, Saad hissed, ducking behind a pillar as bullets pinged off the marble. Because, Hanyu said, loading his pistol calmly, you're bored, nosy, and allergic to minding your business. She glared. Excuse me? I'm helping Tola. I'm not here because of you. Hanyu smirked. Oh, really? Then why did you bring your frying pan again? Saad clutched the iron weapon like a sword. Because it's saved more lives than your fancy little gun. Lady, we're infiltrating an arms warehouse, not a kitchen. Watch your tone. Anime side character. He blinked. Anime what now? She shoved past him, curls bouncing furiously. Move before I introduce this pan to your jawline. Hanyu followed, muttering. Unbelievable. I work for one of the most powerful men in Asia, and I'm gonna die because a Nigerian woman brought cookware to a gunfight. Inside the warehouse, chaos reigned. They were supposed to gather intel on Ruahin's remaining network. Simple job. Instead, alarms blared, smoke filled the air, and Saad had just KO'd a trained assassin with her frying pan. Hanyu stopped mid-run. Did you just? Yup, she said, panting. He'll wake up when Jesus comes back.
He gawked.
You terrify me. Good, she grinned. Keeps you humble. When they finally made it out, covered in soot and adrenaline, they collapsed on the hood of their getaway car. Saad sighed, fanning herself. Next time, you're going first. Hanyu handed her a bottled water. Next time, you're staying home. Who made you my boss? Technically, your best friend's husband. She rolled her eyes. Technically, I don't take orders from men in floral shirts. He glanced down at his Hawaiian print. This shirt is tactical camouflage. For what? A beach party?
Wow.
You're mean when you're heroic. They sat there in silence for a while, the night sky glowing faintly above the city. Finally, he spoke, softer this time. You did good today. She looked at him, genuinely surprised. You mean that? Yeah, he said. I underestimated you. Saad smiled faintly. You still do. Their eyes lingered, longer than either planned. Then he cleared his throat. If you ever want to trade the frying pan for an actual gun, I could. Teach me, she teased. What, like some cliché spy movie training montage? He smirked. Exactly. She laughed, shaking her head.
Fine.
But if I shoot you in the foot by accident, that's on you. I'll take the risk. Later, when they returned to the estate, Tola and Liang stood waiting on the balcony, watching them bicker all the way up the stairs. Liang sighed. You think they'll kill each other or fall in love first? Tola smiled. Both, probably. Inside the house, Hanyu's voice echoed down the hall. Put the pan down, woman. Sada's reply came like thunder. Not until you apologize for calling me bossy. Tola laughed until tears filled her eyes.
Yep.
Definitely both.